Hi guys, happy Wednesday. How's everybody doing today? So we're coming to you from my home studio in New York because we are currently sheltering in place still. And we're in my home. So welcome. My name is Rita Panula. I am the design director for ImpressArt. For those of you who it's your first time joining us today, we're going to cover a lot of tools today. Been stamping a lot this morning, making samples to show you guys. I have a really exciting project and another one because I thought of it while I was getting ready. So two projects I'm going to share with the both of you today. So we are going to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart, denim. So it's come around that time of year where we put those winter coats away and we take out our denim jackets. So we're talking about embellishing with stamping today. So I'm going to show you how to dazzle up your denim jackets with some buttons. So we're going to stamp some buttons. I'm going to show you how to punch holes in your buttons. We're going to talk enamel. We're going to color our buttons in with different enamels. I made a couple of samples for you guys to see. So we're going to use a couple of different tools. We're going to use all of the enamel markers I have to show you guys today. We are going to use the dapping block. We are going to use the screw hole punch. We're going to use our multifunction hammer kit. We're going to texture a little bit. We're just going to go crazy. We're going to get wild today. I'm also going to show you what I thought of last minute is how to make a toggle clasp out of your blank. So it is still jewelry related. So we're going to do buttons. And I'm going to show you really quick how to make a toggle clasp out of a washer and one of our straight strips. Now we're going to get to buttons. Buttons. Who doesn't love buttons? We see a lot of buttons now being used for the nurses because the elastic for the nurses and doctors, it's hurting the back of their ears. So definitely if you're interested in buttons and you either have a friend who is right now currently fighting this on the front lines or someone a grandmother that you know that loves buttons, or if you love buttons, any of the buttons that you see that are my samples, I'm stamping it forward, okay? So I'm going to bring you over to my block. Okay, so here are our buttons. So guys, this is a copper button. I know my holes are a little off. I apologize about that. Okay, and it's got a couple of my custom stamps from ImpressArt that are different mandala patterns. So I'll show you those, but I'll also show you how to do one with a pack that you might have at home. Okay, and this is also dapped. This has the blue enamel on it. Look how pretty that blue looks on that copper. And then we have an alchemy button. And this has our flower ultra detail stamps on it. And what I did is that I kind of ombrated. I wanted it lighter in the center and darker around the edges. And I'll show you how to do that, mixing the black and the silver marker. And then we have a fancy heart. So what I did with this one, I used the black enamel and I used the buffing pad. And I could show you how to do that. It kind of looks like it was antiqued. Okay, because I could walk you through that process, and we dap that. And then we just have a really sweet plain button. So, and then when I was talking to you about a toggle clasp, we're going to use a washer and half of a strip, and I'm going to show you how you can make a toggle clasp for, let's say, if you're beading or your leather work, and you can definitely leave a nice pattern all around that and then continue it on that strip. All right, so we're going to get started. So we're going to start with the copper heart. Okay, so with this heart, like I said, I have the camera right in front of me, so it's a little difficult, but I'm going to show you how you can either just eyeball your dots or you could actually use your sticker guides. Okay, now these sticker guides are available in the sticker guide book. Okay, we're going to peel that off. And this is going to work as a template. Okay, and I'll show you how I do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scratch protector off for this one. Okay. And I am going to line up the top and the center. So does everybody see that line that's going through the center? Okay, and I'm going to use this as a template. I'm going to take my permanent marker and I am going to, this is my center. I'm going to give one dot here, one dot here, one dot here, and one dot here. Now, when you're at home, definitely feel free to move your dots closer together. I'm just going to put them just like that for now, okay? And then I like to take my, everyone knows how I am so fond, if you've been watching these, of the period, the dot stamp, okay? So I'm going to come in and I'm going to follow the marks on my sticker guides, mark my dots, and I'm going to show you why I mark my dots. So I'm creating a template, basically, because when I pull this sticker off, I have the holes already in my sticker to do another button. Now, like I said, you can move your dots closer together, further apart. It's really personal preference. So if you see when I pull that off, do you see that my holes are all the way through that sticker guide? And what I'm going to do with that is I'm just going to put it on the side. Now, I like to personally like my my holes further apart because I like to really overdo it with thread. I use different color threads on my buttons. Growing up, my mother always made our clothes. And the one thing that I remember was that she had a button machine. And I loved Raggedy Ann and Andy, and she would always stop what she was doing and make buttons with us, the fabric buttons. So I love this. I do it with my daughter. It's just something really to make, even a headband or just adding embellishments to a denim jacket, like I was saying before. It's really great. So what I did before is I just colored in my dots to see better where I'm, punching my holes. So I'm going to line them up. Just take a look. Like you could see, does everybody see that? You could see where your hole is. And I'm just going to give it, screw down on that. Okay, pull it out. And I'm just going to now, we don't use the hand hole punch because that's for thinner, softer metals. I'm using the screw down hole punch because I'm working with our premium line of blanks, and they are thicker as opposed to 24. So when you're working with a thick gauge metal, you always want to use the screw hole punch. So what I consider, Deb, a thicker gauge is anything thicker than 24. So right now, this is 16 gauge that we're working with. 24 is super thin, and I think I might, at the end of this, I might grab one to show you the difference in the gauges that I'm using at 24 opposed to 16. So protective sheets really quick. I'm going to pull the one that I had so I don't have to leave the screen. I'm just going to show you really quick with protective sheets. So protective sheets are great because when you're stamping, you don't want the marring on the other side of your blank, okay? So I put that down. Let's say I am doing hearts. I have little to no marring on the back of my desk. Do you see that? I mean, yes, it's scratched from them rubbing together in my box, but you don't see those hearts. You don't see, it's very minimal. Now, when I don't use my protective sheets and I'm stamping, see how you see that marring? See down there and up there? So it's nice to use these scratch protective sheets so you have a really nice backside on your jewelry, okay, especially if you're giving it as a gift. All right, so that's that. So again, I kept my little pattern to the side right on the edge of my block. And what I'm going to do with this now is I'm going to take my multi-function hammer right here. So what you're going to do is you're going to place your ball peen head right inside that hammer, and you're going to tighten your screw at the bottom. You know, and you could also do words. You could do names on these. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to texture it. And remember, if you're afraid of the hammer and hitting yourself, I always tell people, me and Jen, when we teach classes, after the first time you hit your finger, after your first blood blister, it's all uphill from there. You won't be afraid anymore. But if you are, definitely tape your blank down. Simple as that. And you could either choose to go right through the tape or you can move it around. I love this ball peen. I also love how, when you do it close together, look how nice that looks. Okay? So I'm a big fan of really texturing my piece. And it holds the enamel much better. My allergies are no good today. All right. So here we have it, ladies and gentlemen. We have a textured heart. And then you're going to come back in. Before we dap it, actually, you know what? Let's dap it first. So you are going to take your dapping block, put it right on your block. I'm going to move this back ever so slightly, guys, so you could get a better view of what I'm doing. I'm going to place my heart in my dapping block. Now, on the website, we have two different dapping blocks. We have the wood dapping block, and we have the new, beautifully improved dapping block. This dapping block is great because it works with all of our blanks. Okay, and it takes the guesswork out of guessing which cavity you need to use. So for simple dapping, this is definitely the tool that you want to use. So you're going to take this right in the center, guys, right in the center. So I'm going to, let me show you guys, hit the top of this right into it, and I'm going to move it around. That's how simple. Look how nice that comes out. It gives it a really nice form, a really nice shape. All right, so after we do that, take your enamel marker and you are just going to cover the entire heart. Oop. So I know we talked about the multifunction hammer the last couple of weeks, and we talked about that nylon head. Okay, and it doesn't mar that nylon head, and it doesn't leave, marring means it leaves a little bit of a texture on your blank. The reason why it doesn't change it is because we have that strong nylon at the end of that dapping block as well. Okay, so I know I tell you guys to lightly dab it and then lightly wipe it, but we're gonna let it dry on there for a couple of minutes because I'm gonna show you how you could come back in with our buffing block. So I'm going to put that on the side for a couple of minutes, okay? And we're going to do that round button now. So I'm going to show you how to do that ombre look with the silver and the black mixing in. Now, everybody always asks me what the extra tip is used for on that enamel marker. If everybody has that enamel marker, you see it comes with that extra tip. So that extra tip is just in case the existing tip that you have in there dries up. I know my daughter loves to come in here and play when I am doing something else. And what do kids do, right? Or what do adults do? Because I'm guilty of it also. I leave my cover off. So what I'm going to show you is you can utilize, if you don't mind getting a little dirty, I'm going to show you how to utilize the second tip on your silver marker to get that ombre effect. Like I said, your hands are going to get a little bit dirty because you're going to have to pull out and replace the tips, but you also don't have to do that either. You could simply wipe off the tip, and I will show you what I mean. So let's come back in, and we're going to work with, again, our pattern. I'm going to find my center. Now you guys can measure it up with your blanks, with your ruler at home. I am eyeballing this, or else it would pretty much take quite a bit of time for me to get this all done with you guys. So here we go. And then I'm going to, again, attach it to my block. I'm going to come back in with my dot stamp. Now, if you have any kind of font set from us, there's always a period stamp in the lowercase sets. So you don't have to worry about getting this one, but we all know how fond I am of my dot stamp. Okay, so I'm going to pull that away. Now we're going to work with a tilt and a tap, the tilt and tap method. I'm going to put my holes in. We're working with Alchemy, which is our tin-based alloy. It's very similar to pewter. I actually used this sticker a few times. So this is now the second time that I'll be using it. And I'll also show you probably, I want to say 3 to 4, depending on how rough you are with the sticker. No, Mary, it doesn't. None of our metals contain nickel. Okay, so here are my holes. I'm going to show you how to take that enamel off. So you see now it is a little bit drier, okay? So I am going to come in with my paper towel. So you're going to take it, you're going to lightly wipe it, and you're going to see it's staying inside of those impressions done by the ball peen hammer. All right. So now you see mine's a little on the gray side. Okay. Not so black, not so dark. I'm going to take my medium coarse and I'm just going to run it over. And I think I didn't wait long enough for it to dry because I went too fast with it. But you'll see that then you'll come back in with your buffing and see how it turns it a light gray. And it gives it that antique look. So you're going to do it very lightly. Of course, you're going to wait for the black to dry. I didn't wait long enough. But we're going to color that back in and set it aside for a little bit. You could always come back in and recolor your impressions. That's what's great about these markers. We're going to let that dry and we'll use it at the end. So I have my daisy here and let's look for my poppies. Guys, these flower stamps are just breathtaking. And here is my poppy. So I am not going to use my whole stamp. I am going to favor the top half of my stamp today. So I'm going to use the ends. So I'm going to come down, okay? And you always want to, I'm going to pull this back a little bit so you guys could see. I'm hitting it once, and I'm lightly tapping it forward, back, side, side, and I'm coming in. So you see that all of that impression is there. And then I'm going to come back in with my daisies. Okay, now I spoke about this before. Definitely utilize, do you see how shiny that alchemy is? Do you see how you could see the impression in there? Just line that up. Sometimes you don't need sticker guides if you could see your impression with these detailed stamps around it. All right, so I'm going to come back, line that up. I'm going to come back. I'm going to pull you back for a second. Hit it once, tap it forward, back, side, side, and again. And here is my daisy. Actually, you know what? I'm going to come back in with a violet. So this is the violet. I don't know, you guys, this is really, there we go. Okay. So then I'm going to come back in. Again, I'm going to look for my impression in the metal. I'm going to hit it once, rock it forward, back, side, side. And there is my violet. So again, I'm going to look at my impression in that metal. I'm going to really anchor my hands on the block with these. Take my hammer, give it a nice hit, bring it forward, back, side, side. And then I have my daffodil there, okay? Now, it's okay, guys, if it goes near the holes. It's fine. It's fixable. We could always take that screw hole punch and re-screw your holes. You could even stamp first, then put your holes in. All right, so I'm going to come back in because, you know, I can't leave things well enough alone. I'm going to come back in with the curved liner stamp. These guys, they're a life changer. There's so many things that you could do with these. I'm going to come in and you can see that I'm only utilizing half of it, the top half, and I'm hitting only the top half. And I'm going to create some grass. With just some squiggly lines. They just look really pretty. Give it a little bit something extra. And remember, these are sharp. So you don't want to be so super aggressive with them. And you know, you could do little ones. And you can hit them differently. If you want one that's very deep, you go a little bit heavier with your tap. I'm going to show you what I mean. So I'm coming in and I'm a little bit aggressive with it. Then I'm going to come in again and I'm going to lightly tap it. So my lines are thinner. Okay. Now you notice I have a little bit of a blip here because I am tilting and tapping, and because it's a soft metal, it kind of deforms the metal. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your coarse side of your buffing block and you're going to just take it and knock it down. Okay, just like that, and that goes away. And then you could come in on your side with your super fine and just give it a little shine. Okay, so you guys could see how that does it. Now, when you're stamping into this metal, sometimes your disc gets a little wonky. All right, do we all see that? So I'm going to put that right on my block. And I'm going to face it down. And I'm going to take, I know I used my ball peen head. I'm going to take my ball peen head out. And I'm going to replace it with my nylon head. Okay, I'm going to make sure my nylon head's in there. I'm going to tighten the bottom of it. And I'm just going to lightly tap that back into place, guys. Do you see how lightly I'm doing it? Not aggressively at all. And you're going to see that it doesn't mar it at all. You could also do it very lightly on top if it's really wonky, but you could see how that's just, it's perfect. Okay. So now I am going to mix my colors. What do you think? You think that we should, yeah, you know what? Let's do the black. So I'm going to color it in black, and then I'm going to show you how to mix that silver marker. So I'm going to color in my entire disc. I'm going to wait a couple of minutes, okay? I'm going to come in, and like I said, I'm using just a regular household paper towel, and I'm lightly just going to blot it, okay, guys? Just blot. Don't, remember how I say dab it? Just blot it, okay? Ever so slightly. So you see that metal coming through, but it's not really coming off. Does everybody see that? Now, here is my silver marker. I'm going to take it, and in a circular motion, do you see what I'm doing? How I'm just mixing the color in with it? Now, I mentioned in the beginning that if you don't like to mess up your tip of your marker, because now I have see how I have the black mixed in with the silver? You could use your spare tip just for mixing. And then you could always take your tip out and put your tip back in. Okay, so that's a little tip for you guys. So you see how I'm mixing the black and that gray? Silver. Turning it into gray. So what's nice about it, it turns into a really nice gunmetal gray silver. And this silver has, let's see if I could show you on black. It has a little bit of glitter in that. Do you see that? So it sparkles. It's actually really nice. Okay, so I'm going to let it dry. And you're just going to lightly wipe that off. Okay. And you see how that's a really nice gray? Definitely come back in. And you could let that gray sit in there and dry. Don't be afraid of that. And then I'm just going to very lightly, do you see how I'm very lightly wiping it? And that gives it like that antiquing ombre look. Just like that. So now, you see how mine's nice and shiny? This one? Once it's dry, and it's probably not dry yet, but I'm going to jump the gun here. I'm going to take my fine side of my block, and I'm just going to polish one side of it to show you guys how pretty. That shines up. All right. There we go. Okay, so that's another button. So let's see if we could come back to that black. All right, I think we are good. Okay. So you're going to come back in. I'm going to try this again with your medium. Guys, remember, I just want you to know the course, we have a lot of emails. People are like, oh, we use the course on the front of the blank. And now it doesn't look so great. The coarse side is only to knock down your ends, okay? The medium is to give your piece a nice brushed look. So you're gonna take it, here we go, and give it very lightly, okay? Okay, then I'm gonna come in with my polishing, my super fine. And do we see how that turns it a color gray? And it gives it a little bit of that antiques look. So if you would use more of like a chemical base, you know, these are non-toxic. They're water enamel markers. So it gives it that really nice gray color, okay? And you could stop it or you could continue. I continued, I got a little bit more off the center. If you like it a little bit darker, you could leave it. I took more off here, so it turns a little bit more gray. What happens if you let it dry too long? If you let it, okay, so there's two things, Debbie, with that, Deb. If you're working on something and you let it dry too long and it won't come off and you're not using, you don't want a matte finish on it by using this, you're gonna take an alcohol pad and lightly wipe it. You could put some alcohol on the paper towel. You could even put some antibacterial on, but not a lot because it will take off your all of your ink. But, you know, you can definitely let it dry too long. When it comes to this, you don't have to worrying about it drying too long because you're using your medium grit. And now someone just asked what that looks like on a blank. So here we have a square, and this is alchemy. So if I wanted a brushed finish, I'm just going to show you what a brush finish looks like. Again, this is not with the coarse sides, guys. There's one side, two sides that are coarse, two sides that are medium. This is with the medium side. By using that medium block, that's the nice finish that you get with it, okay? It's more of like a matte finish. All right, now if you want to just use the polishing block, I'll do the other side to show you. You could see the difference. It polishes it up. Okay, let's see. Now, I said that I would show you the custom stamps. So the custom stamps we have, you could submit your logo. So I will show you really quick mine on the website. So this is me, of obviously, Rita Panula Designs, okay? So that is my maker's mark. So we definitely could do these for you guys, okay? Now remember, these take a little bit more time. You're just not going to order it today and have us, you know, have it in the mail in a couple of days. These actually go to Allison's crew, the art department, and they work on proofs for you and get it to the way that you want it. So it is going to acquire a little bit more time than normally if you place an order. So, and that'll be explained to you on the website. So I personally work with one of the girls in the art department. Her name is Jeanette. So these are my custom. All right. So if you have an idea for a stamp in mind, you could have us make it. Aren't those beautiful? So these are the stamps. These are my custom stamps that I used with my copper button. All right. So again, with any of the custom stamps that you get for us, it's always good to tilt and tap it. All right. So I'm going to come back in. I am going to try to center my holes again. Now this is the third time I'm using this sticker, I believe. Okay, there we go. I'm not going to put my holes in it just for time purposes. I don't want to take up all of your time, although you know I would sit here and talk to you, ladies and gentlemen, all day long. So I'm going to punch my holes in. Okay. Oh, you like the custom stamp on yes. This is one of my favorites. Okay. So I'm going to, like I said, if you get that beveling in your block, you're just gonna flip that over, take your nylon head, give it a couple of nice taps, not too overly aggressive, and then I'm going to start my pattern. So with these, I'm just going to go around, and I'm going to use my dots to line it up. So I'm going to come in. See how I do that tilt and tap? You're going to put pressure on your stamp, okay? So this is great for those who have ordered custom stamps for us, so you know exactly how to use your stamp when you get it at home. You're going to, I'm going to flip this up a little bit. Perfect. And I'm going to hit it once. Then I'm going to bring it back, forward, side, side. And that's going to get all of my detail into the stamp. Now I've been using these stamps a while, so it is a little easier for me to use. And then I'm just going to continue my pattern all around. Okay. And then I'm going to come back in. And I'm going to hang off. I like my stamps to go off my metal. Just because your stamps are bigger than the piece that you have doesn't mean you can't use them. Be a little bit creative with them. Bring that in. All right, so here's that. So I could punch, I'm going to screw hole punch my holes here. And then I'm going to actually, do you see how, now I like the organic shape that it takes, okay? I like things free flowing, not so perfect. But again, if you are having those bumps around the edges, definitely take your coarse side of your block, your sanding block, and you just want to knock down the sides. Okay, do you see how that all comes together? It gets those sides nice and rounded again. So again, I mean, you could definitely upload a design that you have in mind, providing it's not copywritten from someplace else. Usually we're really good with that, with catching on to it. And definitely send it to us, and we'll get you a proof of your custom stamp. Like I said, the whole process is a couple of weeks long. I'm just taking my block to the end of it. Okay. And then I would take it, put it right into my dapping block. So I'm going to come in right in the center. And I'm going to hit it twice. And I'm just going to just move it around and get it to my liking. Again, we had a question before if dapping it will mar or leave impressions on that metal, and it's not, because it's a really nice strong nylon, and that is going to have a non-marring effect on your metals. Okay, and now I am going to use 2 types of enamel. So let's do the gold and the blue together because I love the way it looks. And I am going to utilize the silver. I'm going to use the silver on the inside of that stamp. Does everybody see how I'm just lightly filling in the impressions of that inside of my stamp? Okay. Now, if you have time, definitely let that dry. Okay? Because now I'm going to come out with my patina green, that bluish green. And I'm going to color, use that tip of my marker, and I'm going to color in the outskirts of my mandala stamp. So this pretty much stays in the impressions. If your impressions are deep enough, they're not going to come out. I actually use the enamel paint, and then I tumble my pieces. And when it comes out of that tumbler, it stays, it's still in the impressions. And then I'm going to come out and color the outskirts of my fan mandala stamp. Okay, so it's going to kind of look like that for now. I'm going to let that dry. So I'm going to then roll up my paper towel, and I'm going to lightly follow those lines and take that enamel off. Does everybody see that? Definitely, you always want to put care instructions in your packages when it comes to the enamel, because you know how you treat your jewelry is maybe not how other people take care of their jewelry. I have a sister who never takes anything off, so you know every blue moon when she comes over, I'm filling in her enamel on all her stamped pieces. You know, your jewelry is not waterproof. Especially if you want to keep it non-toxic in the house, if you're stamping at home, and you don't want those fumes. So, you know, the enamel marker is definitely the way to go. So you could see that I use the gold and the green patina marker. How beautiful are those, guys? Okay, Chris, we would love to have you guys. So definitely just send a PM to Jen. And let us know that you would love to be in a group like that. Kathy, Carly, all you guys. Jackie, I love that. Are you taking pictures, Jackie? Definitely take a picture of it, guys, and hashtag us at Stamp It Forward. We would love to see what you're stamping and what you're stamping it forward. Oh, good, Renee. So definitely, Renee, Christine, definitely send a message to ImpressArt and let us know. We'll put you in a newsletter. We'll put that in a newsletter. Okay? Nothing wrong with having a little side hustle, especially nowadays. All right, so here's one. And I'm going to come back in later and I'm going to poke my holes through that. But I want to just walk you through really quick. I know I have a lot of my beading ladies on here. I know Dale's on here. A couple other of you love to do some beading and incorporate your stamping with your beading. I'm going to show you really quick two pieces. Okay, so these are organic. These are pewter washers, okay? And you could also do another version of it with just a regular washer from us and the strip. Now, with the strip, guys, what you want to do to make a toggle is you want to basically, when you have a toggle clasp, you want to make sure that your bar, okay, is the same, a little bit longer than your washer. So you're going to make sure you're just going to line that up. Make sure it's sticking a little off. Like I said, take a ruler to it. For purposes, just for me being faster here, I'm just going to eyeball it. So I have been using, if you guys are watching, I've been using different cutters, okay? I've been using the white cutters. These are the cutters that are in stock. These are the Xuron cutters. Okay, and they are on the website. And then we have the ImpressArt cutters. So these two are fantastic to cut your metal. I'm going to use my ImpressArt cutter. And I'm just going to, you always want to feed it in there, guys, okay? And then just give it a little cut, okay? Then you're going to take your coarse block, not your medium. Medium is for the top to leave a nice matte finish. Coarse is to knock down your sides. And you're just going to come in. And remember, I'm working with alchemy, so it's nice and soft, so you don't have to be so aggressive with it. If you would be with brass and the copper, since it's a harder metal. So you're just going to knock down your sides. Come back in with your buffing block so you have really nice edges. Okay, and you are going to come to the center. Like again, use your, that's not good. You're going to use your ruler and just find your center. I'm going to just really quickly mark where I want my holes. I'm going to take my screw down hole punch. I'm going to follow my holes. There's really no difference between the cutters and the shears. They just have different names on the website. They're pretty much the same. I had someone drop me off a couple of supplies yesterday from the office. So I made sure that they got me all of the cutters that we have so I could show you guys the difference. Okay, so then I have that. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to either texture, I'm going to pull out, let's see, I'm going to go with another Ultra Detail Flowers. Yes, Carly, I could definitely do a video. We could probably go into more of the filing next week at some point. Okay, so I'm just going to come around. And I'm just going to fill up my washer with a flower pattern. Simple as that. Look how beautiful that looks, guys. You can even use this as a toggle on, you know, if you're doing a stamped piece. Do you see that? Look how beautiful that is. Okay. And this is definitely, the Morning Glory stamp is one of my favorites. All right, so you're just gonna go right around there. And then, you know, you don't have to do the whole bar. You can texture the bar if you'd like. You can put flowers on the ends. So we're just gonna put some flowers on the ends. Okay. And what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to show you how to attach your jump rings. So when you're doing jump rings, you always want to use 2 chain nose pliers. Okay. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to twist. Does everybody see that? Just like that. Okay. I'm not going to pull apart because when you pull apart your jump rings, you compromise the metal. All right. So I'm going to come in. And I'm going to put one of my jump rings on. And now we know with toggle clasps, guys, you're going to need to attach a little bit, about 3 more jump rings to this one to give it room between your beads to get in there. So basically how this clasp works is you're going to take it, it comes right through, and there is your clasp, okay? It sits right on top, just like that. Okay? So that's what's great about, you know, using metals for different things. Using them for clasps, you could use it for buttons. You could even use your button on a bracelet. If you're doing some kind of bead soup with crochet. Yes, and toggles are, Kathy, toggles are so expensive. Okay, so expensive. So that would sit right in there. I'm going to actually attach a couple of more jump rings to give you guys the full effect. I'm not sure if I have a chain, but I'll put that on there. Again, I'm using 2 of my jump rings. I'm opening it that way. I am stringing that on. I'm actually going to cheat a little bit and put 2 on. And then if you're going to just bring it back right into place. Okay? I'm going to put one on just so you could see. Okay, so basically you would, you know, start your necklace, do your beading, do your stamping. Here we go. This gives you a better understanding if you haven't used a toggle clasp before. Now, you can use, if you don't have a screw hole punch, okay? See this one right here? For ones that want to do buttons today and you don't have a screw hole punch, but you do have the GS Hypo, you could always stamp your disc, put a little bit of GS Hypo. Now you're going to have to let your button sit a little bit. And you could definitely dap it and put your button on your existing metal button. Because remember, metal, it's metal glue. So you can stick metal to metal. So if you don't have a hole punch, you could definitely still make these and embellish anything. You could put it on one of the buttons. It's endless. So definitely, guys, let us know how you've been stamping it forward, what you're doing. I know for the last 4 weeks I've been running around on walks with my daughter and putting things in people's mailboxes. I have been stamping things and putting them in the mail. just as a little, I love you. I can't see you right now, but I'm still thinking of you. You're still so close to my heart. It's how I'm staying connected with my loved ones. It's how I'm staying connected in the community that I live in. So definitely if you're stamping and you're stamping it forward, definitely please hashtag us at Stamp It Forward so we could see what you're looking at. And we could post. We could post it on Instagram and Facebook. We would love for you guys to be part of this movement with us, that we've had such an overwhelming response that we're really feeling the love at ImpressArt, and we hope that you guys are also. And I will see you guys on Friday. Happy stamping. Get out there, stamp, create, and definitely hashtag us. Let us see what you're working with. Okay? Just hashtag us at Stamp It Forward or hashtag Impress Us. We'd love to see what you guys are creating. Thank you so much and have a good day.